Welcome to another episode of VidOrg Season 2 Mario Party. This is the first post-tribe swap episode, and I have a special guest, the person voted out, who we'll take a look at in just a sec. Durden. So a little bit of spoiler, obviously, that you're here. We haven't talked about what happened, but we'll get into it. What's going on, man?
I'm just chilling, watching the game from afar, enjoying my time away from the game. So, it's nice to take a break.
No, I mean, we talked about it a little bit about this prior to going live. That it's a lot. It can kind of suck you in a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not real Survivor, but I mean, it's not far off.
It's time consuming in a way because I don't know, you still have to do real life priorities, but you're still thinking about it. So, it's distracting from everything that you need to do. And
yeah,
well, like I told you before, after I got voted off, I turned off all my Discord notifications, and I totally went off the grid this weekend. So
yeah, it was. I mean, it was your first time playing, and you told us. What'd you think overall?
No, I really liked it. I was impressed, from a player standpoint, how well set up it was. It was very structured. Like I said, I downloaded Discord just for this. I never played before. So I really had no idea that this was even out there. And you guys just had a part of the game for everything, all the Safari and all the different chats that kept popping up, and there was a way to everything getting video bound.
Yeah, we got a special guest. For all you spectators that don't know, this is Andrew, the infamous.
We're brothers.
They're Durden and Andrew are brothers.
Couldn't make it to the merge, unfortunately.
You couldn't make it past a single vote.
I mean, first and foremost, I just want to say thank you to Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be here today. And it was just an honor to be out there, and I'll be back stronger.
All right, we'll see you in the future, I'm sure.
Take care. That's the beauty of being live here.
Right? Yeah.
Live video comms.
Yeah. No, I mean, talking about what was your expectation being brothers? Did you think you have a big advantage?
I would hope that if there was a tribe switch or a merge that we could get to play together, and obviously he could combine his info that he got with his tribe, and I could combine what I got with mine. But as the early days of the game progressed, as soon as he started his shenanigans, I knew he wasn't surviving. I literally told him, dude, you have to start watching Russell Hantz, because that's the only way you could find a way to get yourself out of it. If I don't know, I was trying to give him advice.
He went real hard, real fast. But the episode's not about him. He's not worth it. He didn't do well enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like early game. I don't know what it was. Obviously, you had your vendetta against Bennett, and you successfully took out the first dragon. What was why?
I just think it was a difference of personalities. We just couldn't find any common ground to talk about, and it was if I'm not talking about with him, he's one of my closest allies, then I'm not one of his. So I just knew that eventually I'd have to get him out, and it was a difference of personalities, I'd say, is the main thing. Just I was always closer with Peanut, Kevin, Locke than the other people. And I knew because I was close with them that I could, use them to my advantage.
Yeah. So we had that first swap, or the first swap we went to a Luigi and Bowser. That's where you ended up. Your Luigi 2.0 tribe was all Bowsers and Luigis, no Marios. You got a chance to take out Bennett because, kind of because he took the greed, but also just because you wanted him to go. It seemed like you had a lot of control. What do you see, what happened going into the merge? I guess I haven't talked about what the merge looked like for the spectators. So there's 4 Marios, 4 Luigis, 4 Bowsers, and you ended up being the first boot at merge. What happened? It felt like you were in control for a while.
So, I mean, going back to Luigi 2.0 tribe, I dictated pretty much both of the votes. Right after we went to tribal both times, it was like you throw us in the tribal chat, and instantly I got like 5 messages from people on our tribe asking who we're going for. So they were coming to me at that tribe, and I was like, he knew Brendan from a past org too, but I think I took the initiative the most to like try to work with those original Luigis. I saw the opportunity to work with them past the merge because I was never really close with Yugi-san or Bennett. So I figured by saving the Luigis from the numbers advantage that the Bowsers have, that they would be more loyal to me past the merge. And clearly that was my own demise because entering the merge. So yeah, 4 Luigis, 4 Marios, 4 Bowsers. It looked great because Kevin was like my closest guy from original Bowser, and so I knew we had him back instantly. And the thinking was that the original Luigis would get Alec back, but it didn't even matter because we had Kevin. But yeah, so it just turned out that because of how I saved the Luigis in the Luigi 2.0, that I guess Brendan saw that power that I had with my own Bowsers, like Kevin Peanut Block. I say, looked up by messaging Peanut about me, which kind of was the beginning of the end because Peanut told me right away, and I tried to play it off. Brendan kept messaging me like, dude, is something wrong? Like, you seem sad. And I was like, no, I'm like, what are you talking about? Good. Why would any of us ever flip? We're all good.
I gotta say, so from the host perspective, it was pretty funny because Brendan in his confessional immediately is like, fuck, I messed up. I slipped something to Peanut. And then at the exact same time, you're like, fuck Brendan, I'm coming for him. And so we saw in real time this clash between you guys. Obviously, I can't go too much into all of the tribe dynamics because you are still on the jury and going to be making a vote and everything. But I did want to show you something. I posted it in your confessional. Can you see that right now? If you switch over.
Yeah,
you see the trust ranking. So I'm going to pull that up for the spectators here. Right after the merge, we asked everybody. This is before the Brendan and Peanut situation. We asked everybody to give us their trust rankings, and then we sorted it based on the people's average score and stuff. And across the board, people ended up putting you as the lowest person on their trust rankings. That's from the Marios through most of the Luigis as well. Obviously, your Bowsers, they always trusted you. Peanut had you very high. So did Kevin and Locke. But
I mean, in a way, Wade, that was kind of. I didn't want it to translate to least trusted, but I kind of wanted to play a game where I was under the radar, and I never really participated in that werewolf group or those mini games. I kind of just stayed to my own, and I had close relationships with my close allies, and that's really what I was going for. I wanted to stay off the radar, so I could see how that would. People like the Marios who had never even talked to me before. I guess it makes sense. But.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely an under the radar strategy is a way to go. There's some players in this game that I know from previous experience that are very, very good at it. It's a tough one. It's not the game for me and stuff. But what is your what's kind of your thought of the game moving forward? Who do you want to see win? Who do you think is playing the best game? And obviously, we haven't the vote after you has already happened, but don't mention that just because I don't want to spoil.
Okay. I mean, I think obviously Brendan is playing the flashiest game. It's kind of like he's playing every side, and kind of. In my last words, and the person who got voted out after me, we both kind of exposed him in our last words. So I'm actually very interested to see how the people respond to that, because everybody is aware of the game that he's playing now.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you have ill will
Peanut-
towards Brendan, or is it just like within the game?
not personally, I mean, like it's just a virtual game,
Sure.
but within the game, like fuck him, you know, he got me out.
Yeah. Like, would you vote for him?
It depends who he's up against.
All right.
Because it's just the Survivor, like, question that goes back to the time. Like, do you vote for the person that played a better game that you don't like, or, like, you know, the person that doesn't deserve it, but you have nothing against?
What's funny about like that whole concept is like when you're sitting and watching like the real Survivor on TV, it's very easy to be like, oh, that person's like they obviously played the best game, they deserve to win. But a lot of that's always, it's based on the way that the editing happens, and it's different once you're actually like the one talking to people, I feel like.
No, 100%. That's what I was kind of impressed by, like, with this whole thing, like, just how much being in this game, it felt like everyone always says about the real Survivor that it's like a people's game and you have to manage relationships, but it really is like that. Yeah, as far as the game going forward, I don't see how Brendan can make it to the end. If he does, like, I'd consider giving him my vote, but he's clearly playing like every side. But it'll probably take my Bowser's to work with the Marios to get him out. Yeah, I think Dig is playing a really solid game. He's kind of playing the game that I wanted to, like, just being under the radar. But he also, I don't know, like, how loyal his allies are to him.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very smart, comes across as a cool guy. I can't really speak to how the Marios are playing, though.
Sure. I was going to say, who do you think is playing, like, the worst game?
I mean, my definition is like, if it's different than other people's, because, like, all the Marios are, like, so young. Like, I won't vote for any of them, honestly, because I could never develop a relationship with any of them, because it's just, like, it was such a nuisance talking to them, and, like, going to college, it's like, you know, like, I'm just going to continue focusing on my relationship with my Bowsers, whereas I just don't have time for this fake shit with, like, Mario's. Like, oh, like, cool, like, you go to high school, like, I don't know, but so I can't speak to the games that they're playing, because I don't think that they're playing games. They're just kind of, like, being active and, like
hanging out.
What?
Like hanging out, essentially, or
yeah, like, they're just, like, I see in the group right now, like, Locke's like, oh, I might have corona, and then Ellie's like, oh, feel better, like, that's the type of game that they're playing, like trying to be nice to everyone, but I don't know if it's actually strategy.
Sure.
So we'll see. People that I definitely vote for if they get to the finals, if they were with Brendan, are Kevin, Peanut, Locke, and Dig. I don't know how close Dig actually was to me. I think he was kind of caught in between me and Brendan, but as far as I know, he was cool to me. But yeah, if Brendan's in the finals with, like, any of the Marios or any of his other boys besides Dig, we'll see. But up to now, he's playing the flashiest game. Kind of the only game that's notable in my eyes, besides Nintendo, who's just, you know, will never get my vote. Cause it's funny, because, like, the game that he played, like, he took a wild shot in the dark. Like, he could have used that strategy against anyone. Like,
what are you talking about?
I guess the viewers don't know, but, like, he basically started making up all the shit I was saying. Like, he was messaging my own allies, Peanut, like, did you hear about the Durden fiasco? Like, saying that I told him, if you're not with me, you're against me. And, like, meanwhile, in reality, our messages were, like, Nintendo being like, yo, who you allied with? Like, who we voting for? I'm like, I don't know. Like, the vote's still up for grabs, I guess. And he's like, yeah, well, I'd love to work with you. Who are your allegiances with? And I'm like, it was just, like, very, like, timid conversation. Then he's going around telling everybody that these things I said to him that never happened.
Do you think that's
It was
why?
good.
Do you think that played a big part?
Of course. Um, like I said, it was kind of like a lucky shot in the dark because he happened to pick the one Bowser who was kind of the spearhead of the OG Bowsers. It could have been any of us, but he picked the one who Brendan was, jealous of the power I had over my Bowsers, and that kind of stuck with Brendan. Brendan was happy to see me, slandered to the Marios, and he just let it happen, and I knew, I don't know, but
Yeah, don't get heated.
I guess because it worked, but I won't vote for him for that.
Sure. Things we didn't talk about was just for the viewers is what the challenges were this round. So we had, starting off in the tribe, we had the auction. How did you see the auction? Like, there was, I think, 11 uncovered items that you could see, and then 7 covered items. You ended up taking. Actually, here let's take a look at the auction stuff. So the viewers can see this. You cannot, but this is kind of like a little thing, so then the viewers can see like what all the items were and who won them.
Tell them about my roles were.
Your what?
To get the chain chop advantage to the final 8.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that. So yeah, in the auction, you won the chain chomp, which basically allowed you to get a bonus vote, like an extra vote, but you had to essentially risk your vote at tribal to extend the life of it. And every time you risked, it went 10% like more likely that you were gonna like lose your vote. What was you ended up getting down to final 8, I think. So you had to win like 4 rolls in a row.
4 rolls in a row. I think you said I had a 30% chance of winning 4 in a row, and I did. So
yeah,
I was stoked because if the game had played out how I thought it was, where I was gonna take my 3 other original Bowsers with me to the final 8, and I would have had that extra vote, and then get to the final 4. So.
Yeah, that would have allowed you to like really steamroll. The tough part is getting people to like stay with you that long, and not have any sort of flips. Which obviously you saw, like Brendan flipped on you and stuff. Mm-hmm. Obviously we had Brendan went in and threw 500 on immediately. What was your take on that?
So, I think that was the time period after he slipped to Peanut. Up until then, I thought I was doing a good job. Like, after he slipped up to Peanut, saying, "Oh, like Durden has too much power." After he slipped to Peanut, and Peanut told me and Peanut both agreed that we were gonna go for him next, but to just act normal now. And I thought that I was doing a good job of like keeping him calm because he was just like a nervous wreck. I thought I was doing a good job keeping him down, but as soon as he went for that auction item, I knew something was off because if he's like, I just don't feel safe this round. So if he has a reason to think people are flipping on him, then he's considering flipping on other people.
Yeah.
So it obviously stood out when he did that.
For sure. And then we had Xander and Locke that also spent 500 immediately on half a star. Was there too much discussion on that?
There wasn't any on that. Like I was in the same Luigi 2.0 alliance with both of them, but we were like kind of on different sides than Xander. Like the OG Luigis that we worked closely with were Brendan and Dig, and they just kind of roped in Xander on everything. So I don't think Locke and Xander were working together on that. They just kind of like thought it was a good idea. I had wished that Locke told me he was going to do that, so I could have put 500 on the other star, and then I could have went with Xander to the tiebreaker, and if I got that half star, me and Locke could have shared a star.
Yeah. There was so Ellie won the delicate decision. What do you think that is?
I mean, I have no idea. A delicate decision in this game. You're laughing maniacally. Could it be good? Could it be bad?
So
maybe she can. I would guess. My guess would be she could choose somebody to like take a vote away from, or something like that.
All right. I guess I don't think it really matters if I tell you or not. You can't change or impact anything until it doesn't matter anymore. But essentially, delicate decision it's a legacy advantage where whoever owns it at Final 6 gets to choose if it's a Final 2 or a Final 3.
Wow.
So that's
kind of huge.
Yeah, if she's able to stay in the game. If she's knocked out, then she passes it on to the person of her choice. So basically, we just decided we're gonna let the players decide if it's a Final 2 or Final 3. So I thought it was kind of cool. But that's the delicate decision, and it wasn't very highly sought after.
That's very not delicate.
No, it's delicate because like it can really change what happens. Like you have to make a very conscious choice. I
like how you guys phrased it as delicate decision, but that could end up like playing a major role because if they choose Final 2 and then someone in their out like alliance, it has to go out at 3. So
yeah,
who knows?
I assume most people would probably choose Final 3, but just because it's like a high chance to make it there, I guess. But you never know. If you're not playing a very good game, you might need a Final 2 to try and win. So,
right.
Yeah, we'll see. Really, the other ones were kind of like very average when it comes to advantages or Safari items. They're mostly just used for in the Safari. Yeah. That was the auction. Then after the auction, what do we have? Oh, we had the Fallen Words. How did you fare in that?
Was that the immunity challenge?
Yeah, the immunity challenge, the word puzzle. I forget what your time was.
It was really like 19 minutes, but because of the punctuation, I solved the phrase in 19 minutes, but I ended up getting the right command at like 24 minutes.
Okay.
I think the thing that tripped me up most was the star best thing, but I started to go backwards from the end.
Okay.
But yeah, I got it relatively quickly. I think Dig did it the right way. He had a pen and paper from the very beginning. It took me like 10 minutes to realize like I couldn't just do it in my head.
Yeah.
And then I actually got a pen and paper and started doing it, and I got it a lot quicker. So.
No, it definitely helps just being able to like scratch stuff off, write it in, different stuff.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like you're like, oh, I know this word is the or super whatever, but I can't like visualize what the bottom letters look like when they're not there,
right.
Type of deal.
Yeah, literally exactly. So.
Well, I don't know much if there's much more to talk about on this episode, but it was a lot of fun to watch you play. Your confessionals were great. You had 2 episode titles. Control basically like definitely like player of the game, I think, for pre-merge. And
I would have had more titles, but you had to space out the edit.
Yeah, exactly. There was a close vote on you said like everyone else can bend the knee. And we knew you were fishing for the title, yeah. but we almost gave it anyway.
That's fine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll happily accept your pre-merge player, leading my Bowser team to all the victories, had good alliances. I'll be back for All Stars. So. All
right. Well, stay tuned. We'll see when that happens.
Invited. If I'm generously invited by weight.
Exactly. We'll see. All right. Well, that's all we have for you guys. Thanks again for coming on this, making time to come do this, and for just playing in the season as a whole. Like I said, it was a lot of fun to watch you play, and I think the spectators enjoyed it too. So.
All right. See you guys at Final Tribal.
Yeah. Well, you get to vote now. Decide who wins. Power's in your hands.
Power's in my hands. Just what I want.
All right. Have a good one.